Yes, it's Tej.
Yes, Tej here.
Tej, this is Gauravanand from Ericsson.
Hi, Gaurav. Good afternoon. How
Hi,
are you?
good afternoon. I'm good. How about you?
I'm good. Thanks for asking.
So you have a scheduled interview for SQL?
Yes.
Is it a good time to start or you need some time to settle up?
Yeah, we can talk.
Okay, great. So Tej, if you can quickly brief me about your, current role and responsibility and your past experience
Yeah.
in SQL, particularly in SQL.
Yes, sure. I have 4.6 years of experience in SQL Server Database Administration.
Mm-hmm.
It's into 24/7 production support. Currently, I'm working with Sonata, and prior to that, I worked for Database. So coming to my day-to-day activities, it's a 24/7 support where I have experience.
Tej, can you find a place?
Yeah, I'm coming
Because
away. I'm coming away. Yes, yeah, I'm
okay.
Second. Yeah. So it's a 24/7 support where I have basically involved in handling incidents and taking care of changes, taking care of regular maintenance activities, along with
Mm-hmm.
end-to-end SQL Server monitoring. So for all SQL Server related issues like those failures, backup issues, any issues with database corruption, or any user access related problems, or SQL Server performance related issues, for all these things we get incidents. So apart from that, we do take care of changes like installing and configuring new SQL servers and setting up new backup strategies, and also implementing new jobs and also configuring high availability solutions like log shipping, mirroring, transaction replication for any newly added databases, and also have very good exposure with backup and recovery processes and then with migrations and upgrades. I have good experience with maintenance, like weekly maintenance activities, like rebuilding the indexes and updating the statistics, performance and cleanup activities, and taking care of disease-related maintenance activities, and restarting the servers. Yeah.
So if you have to rate yourself out of 10, 10 being a good, so how much rate you yourself as a SQL Server DBA?
7.5.
7.5. And your key expertise area will be like key expertise area.
Yeah, backup and recovery, high availability, performance tuning, that is all.
And what kind of version?
I worked for 2005, which is late 2012.
Have you ever got chance to work on 14?
No. So I know the installation, still installation and the new features introducing 14, but not got a chance to work hands-on.
Okay, and the additions you worked on?
Enterprise and standard.
Enterprise standard. So if I say like I have a new requirement and I have to decide for like which particular addition I should go for. So what will be your key areas to decide like okay whether I should go for enterprise or standard or like which addition I should go for?
So if you want to go for any SQL installation or SQL setup, we need to first think about what are all the features that the customer is looking for, and what level of storage, that how much size of databases, that how much data that we need to accommodate with these databases, and based on that we can and how many CPUs it has to support, and what is the capacity of RAM that needs to be done, and are there any partitioning? Basically we need to list down the features, and based on that either you can go for standard.
Again, my question is same, like what kind of features?
Yeah, so if you want to go with a normal database engine feature along with like some basic high availability things, you can go for standard. And if you want to implement any partitioning and online operations like index on rebuilding or reorganizing the indexes online, and
So you mean to say these features are not there in standard
partitioning is
online?
not supported in 2000 standard, and but online operations are not supported with index rebuild and index reorg are there in standard, but online operations are not supported. So we need to bring database offline, and then we need to perform these activities.
Okay. Okay. So let's move on to other thing like you said somewhat about architecture or internal working of SQL Server.
Yeah.
So do you have exposure on like how SQL internally works?
Yeah.
For example, say some user request is coming to SQL.
Yeah.
So someone hit on the GUI.
Yeah.
The front end, someone else. So what will happen then? How it will go and fetch the data from the SQL Server database engine?
Yeah. So
how it will work?
yeah. So basically, so whatever the request coming out of either from front end applications or from any client connection. So basically, the query or request reaches to our SQL Server with appropriate protocol, like just if it is in generally we go with the TCP/IP protocol. So this basically communication layer between the user and the server. So then once you get into the SQL Server, again it will go through certain blocks like there will be query processor and storage engine. So the query processor basically takes care of like parsing the SQL statement. Like the parser will be there. It takes care of all the syntactical errors, and then control goes to optimizer. It basically comes up with the optimal execution plan that's required to execute.
How it will check for like this will be the optimized plan for me to generate, like how it will decide on the optimized plan.
So depending on the data, depending on the query, and depending on the indexes and whatever depending on the statistics, and SQL Server for every statement, SQL Server may come up with multiple execution plan. Out of multiple execution plans, the optimizer will pick up the one which can be used to complete this query with less time.
Okay. For example, I ran a two procedure and there was data I collected for around 5,000 records.
Okay.
Okay. And after few days, I ran a same store procedure, and it fetched around 20 back records.
Okay.
So there will be two execution plans, right?
Yeah.
So when you fire it a third time, so which execution plan it will go for?
Okay. So initially the source procedure executed, and it has returned 5,000 records, right?
Right.
And when you execute second time, it has returned 1 lakh records, right?
1 lakh 20 lakh records.
Yeah, 20 lakh records. Okay. And third time you were asking which execution plan it will pick up, right?
Right.
So as for stored procedure, what it does, so whenever you compile, whenever you run stored procedure first time, SQL Server optimizer will come up with one execution plan. So the plan will be cached, okay, and whenever you execute that stored procedure again, and it will reuse that existing cached execution plan, and it will try to reuse that. So either say for example, initially first time as you mentioned, it was returned 5,000 rows, and whatever the execution plan it was generated for that 5,000 records, the same plan will be applied even if the data volume is more.
Mm-hmm.
So if you want to get new execution plan to be generated every time. So you need to go for putting option recompile hint. So that every time whenever you execute that source procedure, it will recompile and it will come up with a new execution plan based on the data value.
Okay. Right. Hmm. Right. So okay. So have you worked on this mirroring log shipping replication?
Yes.
Okay. So what is the key difference between mirroring and log shipping? Like what options we should use and what is the key difference between these two?
Yeah. So the main prerequisite for mirroring is like the database must be in full recovery model, and for log shipping, database can be either in full or bulk log recovery model. So the main the differences between log shipping and mirroring is like in log shipping. So the one drawback is we do not have automatic failover. Something goes wrong with our primary database, we need to make sure that we do.
Or for example, I have a requirement where my servers are not in domain.
Okay.
Okay. And client has requested for a priority feature.
Okay.
Okay. So what option should I use? Which feature should I use? Whether I should go for log shipping or mirroring or replication? What should I do? So how you will deal with this situation and how you will try to gather the requirement from the client, what exactly is his requirement. So what will be your approach?
Yeah.
And mind it like my servers are not in domain.
Not in the same domain, right?
Right.
Okay. So if the servers are not in domain, like whatever primary and whatever DR servers are not in domain, I think log shipping we cannot use because we need to have a shared network, and then that must be both the servers must be in the same network, and we need to have accessibility for our jobs to access those shared network to place backup files. And yeah, I think the mirroring can be used because it will be communicated with the help of endpoints, and if you have request to the network name along with port numbers, and we'll be able to configure the mirroring across different domains.
We can so using Windows authentication?
No, we need to go for SQL authentication.
SQL authentication.
So we need
Okay.
to have a set, yeah.
So how we will configure it? Can you tell me the steps to configure mirroring using SQL authentication?
Crash domain I have not implemented, so I'm just thinking in the background. I'm talking.
But again, if you use SQL authentication, how does two SQL servers will communicate with each other?
No, yeah, definitely we need to have Windows service accounts to connect between two computers, and then only we can achieve we can configure mirroring. Yeah, as you mentioned, it's the two different domains. I'm not sure whether we'll be able to configure mirroring or not. So I never got such opportunity to configure mirroring between two domains. I'll go back and check that option, whether will there be any option like that.
Okay. So there is an option of certificate. These are new certificates.
Oh yeah, okay. I'll go back and check that. Yeah.
No issues. And do you have a question on replication?
Yes,
Which kind of replication?
transactional.
Only transaction?
Sorry?
Only transaction?
Yeah, transactional I have hands-on, but I have exposure to Merge and Snapshot application also.
Okay. So if you can quickly brief me, don't give me a theoretical verbal communication kind of things like okay this will go and that will happen. Give me internally how transactional application works.
Yeah. So So basically, transaction replication delivers the data in a transaction, right? So it will have a components like publishers, subscribers, and distributors. And we need to create a publication with a list of articles that we need to replicate. Once the publication is done and the initial snapshot will be generated and initialized with all the subscribers when the snapshot agent is executed, and it will generate a snapshot for publication, and it will keep it for the subscriber installation. And then whatever the new transaction.
For example, a new transaction comes up.
Yeah.
Okay, on publisher.
Yeah.
Then what will happen internally and how it will take the transaction from publisher to subscriber?
Yes, the log reader agent is the one basically which will be watching out at publisher for any new transactions happening. So whenever it finds any command or any new transaction.
Do you know about XCall and call in the replication?
Yes, call and call. No.
Or the procedure which replication internally runs to push the data from publisher to subscriber, or do you know it will break the transaction into the single terms and then how it will take to the subscriber?
No.
Do you know internally how it?
No, I don't know
Okay.
internal details.
Okay. No issues.
You mentioned what is that? S call, N call, right?
X call and so these are the steps which is the procedures which SQL Server internally uses. Whatever the transaction that is coming on the publisher, it will break those transactions into a single term.
Okay.
So after breaking it, then it will use this procedure and then put the data into the replication tables and then it take it further.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you so much for that. I'll take a look.
Okay. So what else? Let's discuss about performance tuning. Your key area in performance tuning.
So,
what kind of issues you are good in handling? Is CPU, memory, I/O, or slow running queries, or connectivity issues, or some database issues? What?
So mostly we handle slow running queries. We get requests from application teams pointing that queries are running slow, and there we get in and we check a few things at server level, like any blockings or deadlocks.
Okay. So, for example, you have deadlocking on the server, or you have the blocking on the server.
Okay.
Okay. Two SQLs are blocking each other. One is inserting the data and one is deleting the
Yeah.
data. Okay. And they are blocking each other. They are running on same table.
Okay.
Now, you don't have disk space as well on the server. Your disk is almost full.
Okay.
You cannot expand your disk.
Okay.
Okay. And you have another disk which is empty.
Okay.
Okay. And your CPU is going high.
Okay.
Your memory is going high.
Okay.
So now what you will do?
Yeah. So definitely we need to resolve that blocking first, because of as we are seeing blocking is happening, and because of that it might have block all the resources like CPU, memory.
How will you blocking? How will you resolve blocking?
Yeah. So we need to identify the blocking speed. Okay. And
I said that there are two SQLs. One is inserting the data. One is deleting the data. These two SQLs are blocking each other.
Okay.
And because of that, CPU is getting high, memory is getting high, server is running slow.
Yeah.
And disk is almost full.
Okay. And we can, as we do not have as you mentioned that we cannot grow the disk, and we may need to kill that insert statement, insert transaction, so that
But don't you feel if you kill the insert statement or insert transaction, that will lead to data inconsistency?
yeah, that once we, as you mentioned, we have another disk, okay, and once we kill the transaction, once another whatever the delete operation is occurring on the same table, once that is completed, and we can add another data file in the
Okay, for example, your insert statement was running for the past 6 hours. Okay.
okay.
And you kill that transaction. You have killed that activity. So won't it go to rollback mode?
Yes, it will go.
Then you already don't have the space on your disk.
Yeah, it will go to the rollback mode, and it will undo all the inserts that are happened from last 6 hours.
But again, while doing a rollback, we will consume more disk space.
Yeah, it will create the disk.
It will free up, or it will try to consume some more space.
So the transaction wise, it will try to consume some more time, some more space. So it's because
as you don't have space available, so what you will do?
So we need to add another file to that database. So as you mentioned, we have another empty disk, and there we can try to add another data file.
Okay. Then
we have to kill either of the transaction to mitigate the problem, to release the resources, to give a room to the new transaction that are coming to SQL Server.
okay. So a generic question, like for example, some users come up to you and say my server is logging through.
Yeah.
Okay. And you log in, you see memory consumption is very high.
Okay.
Okay. There is no blocking of the server. Disk is perfectly fine. Spaces are there in the disk.
Okay.
But again, your memory consumption is high. What you will do?
So we need to see are there any long running sessions or long running open transactions, and also if there are any queries running, and we need to see kind of inexpensive operations running like table scans. It might have it might have and so much of memory. And in our case, we do see the similar kind of problems with our data warehousing ETL loads. So it happens like US NICE, that is our India data. So we basically, whenever any particular job, on any particular instance, if you see it is running at 90 or 90% of memory and CPU utilization, and we try to as I mentioned, there are heavy data loads. It extracts data from multiple sources and try to put it in one warehouse. So because of that, sometimes some of the processes get stuck, and it will not release the resources, and we go ahead and restart that concerned processes to release those memory and CPU resources.
So what kind of all tools you will use for your analysis?
So to analyze memory and CPU issues, we use Postman, and also to gather required counter values, and to see if there is any pressure in the vessel tool, and if required, we run issue a manual shift point. And
so if I talk about counters, what kind of counters will you try to put in?
So if you want to see the CPU statistics, and we need to put percentage process time, and then if you want to gather some powerful statistics, and we need to catch a page life expectancy, buffer hit cache ratio, and
So what is page life expectancy?
the page life expectancy is something like how much time a page can be stayed in the buffer pool. So the ideal value would be about 300. If you see anything below 100 or 50, then that means we are having some memory reserve for that instance.
Okay. And what will be the counters for this? What are counters?
Page falls per second, page reads per seconds, and page writes per seconds, and these are all some of the counters we can set for I/O related.
Okay. So do you have exposure on SSRS or IS or AS?
Yeah, I have a basic experience with IS and RS, so I have used SSIS, basic SSIS packages, and I have used it in migrations to migrate logins and SQL Server agent jobs. And exporting data, like automating the reports to export the data from SQL Server to.
So, like for example, you have to migrate your packages from one server to another.
Yeah.
So how you will do it?
Yeah, so the package migrations can be done to file system or MSDB, and we can just go to the catalog and right click on MSDB, and we can browse the source. We can copy those packages.
Tell me one thing, like as you have exposure on working SSRS.
Yeah.
For example, I have a SSRS reporting services on 2008 R2. Okay. And I have reports and everything over in 2008 R2, and now I have to implement or upgrade to 2012.
Okay.
So if I take backup of my report server databases and just simply go and restore it on 2012 and configure report services, so will it work?
So it should work, but yeah. So it should work, and in case if you want, you can keep your reporting. We can use another method. Just go on 2012 reporting to 2012 reporting services. We can go and update the target server URL, and you can right click on the package explorer, and you can go for deploy option, so that it will automatically deploy all the reports to a new instance.
Right, Tej. Tej, any questions for me? I'm done.
Yeah, it was nice talking to you. You could give me what kind of role you are looking for, and what kind of role you are looking for, and what exactly the roles and responsibilities are.
Right, Tej, actually, I'm not sure of. So this requirement is for Bangalore office. Bangalore, I'm based in Noida.
Okay.
Here. So I'm not sure of, because I'm into the technical panel, so I was asked to take your interview.
Okay, no problem.
So most probably the project team or HR will get in touch with you.
Okay, thank you so much. Yeah, nice talking to you.
Thanks a lot.
Bye bye.
Same here. Thank you. Bye.